Alchemy Network, a metaphysical channel. It helps broaden the mind and the soul. Take a journey into where did I go? It helps broaden the Okay, you guys forgive me for that. Only me, right? Only me. Just want you to know this is Food Alchemy Network, and we have a list of beautiful shows that you're going to be able to tune in each week. So I want to bring you a lot of information for you to broaden your mind and soul and understand and connect to deeper parts even that you've never thought of. So please be opening your mind to expand. So I am the CEO of Food Alchemy Network, aka Dr. D, aka Food Alchemist. And for you all that knows out there, you know, food for me is mind, body, and soul. So, and also our esoteric. Everything esoteric is food for thought, mind, and soul. So that's giving you a little bit about. So today we do have a guest, but I also want you to stay tuned. On Mondays, we have Coffee with Ori. That's 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, on Thursdays, Angelic Whispers with Dr. Ron Bates, but we're doing a special tomorrow. He's not doing a Thursday show. So just this week. And on Friday, we have dinner time with Dr. D and Corey, another generation. And then on Saturday, it's Women's Circle. So we'll have a series of shows that's going on of life in general. So I want you to stay tuned and be present with us. Also, always listening to this channel is very important. Get a pencil, get a paper, get a book, or even record. Or go back and if whatever you miss, get it on the recording so you will not miss anything. So I want to say thank you for everybody's out there that's tuning in. We are so happy to have you. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce Marion.
Hi.
So tell people who you are first, because there's a difference of who you are and what you do.
Okay. So my name is Marion, and I am a multidimensional galactic human being, is what I like to say. And I'm working all over the place, whether it be here or in other planes of existence. I'm an artist. I love dancing. I love singing. I used to be a hairdresser. Let's see what else. I used to be a makeup artist. I'm obviously covered in tattoos. There's a lot about me. I'm a lot of things all wrapped up in one. But I think that the best thing for me to describe myself as a very compassionate, loving human being who is really trying her best to stay present for everyone while she's here in this lifetime. So
I like that. I like that. So tell us, besides all of that, how are you feeling today? Like with the shift of the changes, like what is your day feeling like just today?
So today I actually felt that we were coming into a different band of frequency, I guess you could say. It was really strong. It pushed up against a lot of things. It pushed up against me, and I would say a good portion of the collective. I felt that energy big time. In pulling a few cards for myself, I really felt, in asking the question of like, what's going on here? What am I feeling today? And Earth came up, communication and forgiveness. And it was all into the Sirius energies. The Sirius, the planet. And with those beings, the Sirian beings, which I've worked closely with, actually. I have an aspect of myself that actually resides in the Sirius system. And so those energies are heavy. And it definitely played out. And I had a very odd day because of it, lots of tears. But coming into trying to find a more neutral space with how I was feeling was very difficult. I kept swinging one way or the other. And that's kind of how I try to maintain a neutral point on a lot of things. It's very hard. I will tell you, that's not something that came to me right off the bat. That's like 8-9 years of self-work to get to that point. And so, yeah, I was working really hard today on the emotional level. Physically, I felt okay though. As far as the physical energy goes, a little low on the energy scale, but when I'm feeling that energetic lull, I meditate a lot or do yoga, breath work. Breath work will really get you going. So that's kind of what I do. I practice that every single day is breath work and Kundalini yoga. And I just, took myself out for a walk, did some boxing, did some rowing, just to try to really push through the emotional stuff. Because while we have all the energies kind of shifting around and all the emotional stuff, I mean, there's a big portion of physical activity that helps keep our auric field clean. It helps keep our energy field balanced. So that's just something that I practice every day in general. But yeah, just really, really feeling it today. But it's better than it has been. I'll tell you that much, because a week ago, even a few weeks ago, it was rough, just rough, beyond rough. And I know everyone was feeling it, that thickness. I kept describing it as walking through or being in molasses, like walking through molasses, almost like that,
Molasses tough stuff.
yeah, like it just trying to move it was like I could barely move. And so, but I kept pushing through, persevering, just kept telling myself, this is only temporary. You'll come out the other side of it. You're going to pop out the other side. And I didn't really want to acknowledge that I was feeling so much of the collective energy, but I was really feeling that the collective.
Okay.
And yeah, so I had to have another healer friend of mine help me in a session to really help me kind of come out. Like, even us healers, we need help too, even though I can use these almost all my modalities on myself, sometimes we need that outside perspective. We need that outside help. So I definitely had to call in some help.
Right.
So, yeah.
And we got to be willing to accept it. Some people will not take help. That is another thing. We're good at giving. Sometimes we're not good at receiving.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's a very key point of that aspect of life. We're also like giving, and then we don't realize when we give so much we could tank out because we're not giving to ourselves or receiving from ourselves. So thank you so much for expressing and letting people know and sharing with that knowledge of that. So without further ado, I'm ready to roll. The topic today is light languages, and I love the beautiful conversation that we had yesterday. So I kind of want to give people a recap about light languages, because we were talking about the frequencies of light languages and the variable. Mm-hmm. Because most people don't understand there's also variables, just like your spiritual growth of evolving, that light language is evolving too. And one aspect was we're talking about speaking in tongues. So could you elaborate your understanding of light languages? Because I don't like to everybody's is different.
Everybody will have a different take on it. So please, just anything I say, anything that doesn't resonate with you, you do not have to take it and accept it. You can take it and go walk right on by if you choose not
Like
not to if you just don't resonate with it, it's fine. And I do not take offense to any of it. But so my understanding of speaking in tongues is that and I gave Cecily the example of dance. So there are many, like you say, oh, I'm a dancer. Well, what kind of dancer are you? There's many different forms of dance. So speaking in tongues is kind of another way. It's just another faction or another, of light language. It is a little bit, from my understanding, a little bit of a lower density way of speaking light language. But it is what came in, not what first came in, but what came in through those churches where it was coming through, where it came in. So it was just, as with anything that has to come in and evolve and grow, it needs a place to come in, and it came in and it started there and it's evolved and grown since then. I know people have, if you look at videos of people speaking in tongue, you will see and you will hear a difference and you will feel a difference between speaking in tongues versus light language. Now, as with any light language, when I first started doing it, it does, there's a period there where it wants to come through. It's got to evolve too, as well. But you can still feel the difference. You can still feel the frequency difference. Because that energy, that frequency is coming through you, whether or not you're actually speaking it yet, it's there. It's inside everyone. It's waiting to come out. And a lot of people don't even realize that before they even speak it, they're doing hand movements with it. Dancers move with energy, doing qigong, like all of those things. That is a form of light language. It's an expression, especially using the hands. It's an expression and an extension of the throat chakra. Singing is another way of expressing light language. Art is another way of expressing light language. There are many different, everyone's going to express it differently. Some will express it in all the ways, and some will only express it one way. So, yeah, with the speaking tongues, if that's what you want to call it, or if that's how it comes through for you at first, it might do that, but it will evolve and it will change. That's kind of my take on that.
I like that. So you're saying it comes through art. So could you explain a little bit about art, like dancing? Is it like painting pictures? Is it sculpting? Is it, because there's so many different mediums.
Yeah. So I actually do light language. I call it coding. I do code work. And I use it in art. I draw. Most of my drawing was all by hand. I'm now doing mainly digital, just because it's easier and faster. So that's how I've chosen to express it in art form, is through drawing. So I do have most of my code work, all of my drawings and stuff on my Instagram, which is Marion Amael Grace. It's Marion _Amael _Grace. So with the artwork, I call it activated art, because the way I do mine, everyone is different when they do light language art, but the way I do mine is, you'll see I have one of my codes is a phoenix. I have a phoenix drawing. Wow. And when you look at it, you see the phoenix. What you begin to start to focus on is that throughout the entire drawing, there is these, like, they look like writing. It looks like, oh my gosh, I can't even think of the word Sanskrit. It looks like Sanskrit. That's and right. So what starts happening is you start, because I've drawn you in by the subject matter, and you start looking at the actual, what's going on inside of it, a healing is occurring. There's actually an activation. It's just like going to a museum and seeing artwork or seeing sculptures or anything that you look at that that makes you go, "Oh, wow," just like music, when you hear a song and you feel it, it's the same thing with my art. It's you're looking at it and you're like, "Whoa, what is that?" And it's that inspiration, that there's this activation happening within you because your soul recognizes the energy that's coming from the art. So just like with dancing or singing, and as with art, any intention, anytime you're doing anything from that place of the soul, it's coming through. Just like when a singer is really singing from their soul, you can take two people, you can have them sing the same song. One can sing from the soul and the heart, and the other one can just sing it. And who are you going to feel something from? You're going to feel it from that person that's bringing through, like, really that energy. So that's where my art, when I'm doing my art, I'm putting that frequency, that energy of, let's say, the phoenix, that death and rebirth, that empowerment, that the code of empowerment over and over and over again. And I'm in this certain frequency as I'm creating, and I'm connecting to various different aspects that have been through, the phoenix energy, because I've been through it multiple times, and really putting it into the art. So what you're seeing and what you're getting is you're getting this healing and this activation into that particular code. So that for me is the art portion of light language. Now, others, if you look up light language art, you can do that with the hashtag on Instagram. You can look up light language code, light codes. There's various different, even if you just put hashtag light language, you're going to get a lot of different things, but you can start to see everybody's different artwork. There's also another name for it called asemic art, which is ASEMIC. Asemic art also falls into the category of light language. And that's just another expression, another form of light work. It's just another form. It's my favorite. I love doing all the forms of it, but I really love creating. And you can do it through sculpture. And you can do it through all sorts of different ways. Music. I know several people who play guitar and violin and drum that bring through those frequencies of light language. So it's very possible to express it in any way.
Wow. Okay. I like that. Sorry. Like I said, I'm going for one computer and typing and putting it at the same time. So I'm going to put a stomach in here so people can see. So, so what started you to actually create or get involved in light language itself? Like, how did that start?
So it actually was a video. I was on Facebook one day, and this woman I was friends with on there, I don't even know how her and I became friends. There was, it's like, I had actually, okay, let's take it back. 2013, I had a friend who was a Marine. He spent a lot of time over in Afghanistan. And he said he was over there and started one night. They were, they were doing something, and he started speaking this language. And he said nobody knew what he was saying. He had no idea what he was saying. So when he came back, he was telling me the story, and he starts speaking this language, and I'm like, what is that? And he was like, I don't know. It just comes out during certain times, but I felt this energy. I felt this like galactic, like, but kind of mythical, interesting, like energy. I was like, it's like this, it's almost like, it felt like genie energy. It was really crazy. And so I kind of set that aside. And then a couple years later, um, it started to kind of want to come through. It started coming through actually in my dream space long even before that, but it really started coming through. And I would wake up, I'd be like, what language am I speaking here? And so, it really, all it took was, it was kind of there in the background. And I watched this video, and this woman starts like, speaking, and I'm like standing there with my phone, and I can feel it energetically hitting me. It was like goosebumps, right? It was like every time she would speak, I could feel the hit, and it was lighting every single cell in my body. And next thing I know, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm up against the wall going, what is happening to me? And I was so stunned that I had to share it with my mom. I'm like, can you watch this and see if you're getting this? Because something is happening to me. So it was after that it, like, all of a sudden, the words wanted to start coming out. I realized I had already been using my hands, to do the movements. And all of a sudden the dreams, I started like realizing, oh my gosh, like, what is this? This is what's been coming through my dreams. So I actually started researching it, and I was in a group at the time. And they like kind of helped me figure it out. And that's when I was introduced. I spent like a good year trying to like figure it out, doing it privately in this group and not really putting it out there. And I read Jamie Price, her book, Opening to Light Language, and it like made everything make sense to me. I'm like, this is it. And it was really in that book and in that connection, that I really was like, okay, there are other people that do this. And then that's when I started finding that tribe of people. And it took probably, like I said, the first year of me just really, healing myself. Like I had already done the healing work, but light language really peeled it back even further. And I started using it in my healing practice. And yeah, it kind of snowballed. It kind of, once it opened up, it kind of just went into this full swing, and I just went with it. And luckily now there's so much support around the opening of light language and the process of it, that wasn't there when this all first started happening to me, but there is so much support now. So for anybody that's in that space of, whether it's confusing them, or, they're scared of it, or they're not quite sure. There are so many people out there like me who went through that journey, who are out there trying to help others with their journey into light language. And there are tons of groups now, even groups on Clubhouse. There are groups on, Instagram, even TikTok. It's just everywhere now. So it's really amazing that there's that much support now.
Cool. See, that's good. So what I'm doing is going back and forth. You guys, I'm here, but I'm multitasking.
Go for it.
So I'm like, I'm getting this. It's like we're gonna get this. We're gonna close this gap, as I said. I just did something. It just went out. But it's okay. It'll come back. Okay, there we go. Did it? Nope. Did you go? Nope, it didn't. That's okay. I got you. Okay. You gotta love it. Because like I said, I guess like you're doing a lot. So I'm interviewing and keeping my mind open. So I'm trying to put the name of the books. I was, Jamie Price, The Opening of Light Languages, and I wanted to put the other book so people have some reference to go to, because that's very important of being able to get information, especially when you don't have information, where to go to. And that's why I'm going to put the Clubhouse and TikTok. That's what I'm interpreting, guys. I'm putting this all in there, so all the languages you'll be able to understand. Did I put that down there? Yes, I did.
Yeah, there's a couple groups on for anyone that is in Clubhouse. There's so many really amazing groups that are holding space for people that are coming into light language. And there's in the book, opening to light language, there's another person who wrote, her name is Yvonne Perry, and she also has a few light language books out as well. So she's another one that's really, really good to connect with and read. Her books are amazing. And yeah, there's a lot, I mean, if you just Google even light language, I mean, you're going to come up with a lot, which at the time, not a lot came up when I was first going through all this, but now so much is coming up, yeah, if you find me on Instagram, you can look at who I follow, and you'll see, like, I've got like a slew of really good, amazing, like, people that I'm actually like personally friends with and have collaborated with that are so good. I mean, just with their art, with, how they're supporting others going through this journey. And I mean, I do it as well. I offer the sessions. I don't do any mentoring sessions, but I do know that there are handfuls of people out there helping and mentoring people who are going through this path, or on this path.
Okay. All right. I got that. Yeah. It's taking me a little bit. Okay.
That's okay.
So thank you, guys. Thank you for being patient. That's number one. Because a lot of people don't understand where to go, or the books to read, or it's a lot to take in, just like your spiritual development. You're always learning where to go. What do you do? How do you make this work? What is the nearest and dearest thing that you can do? And finding someone that, or a group, or like you said, your tribe, so you're not sitting there feeling crazy.
Yeah.
Because that is, as you're going through the change, and your new discovery, what happened to the people around you? How did that affect them?
So the group I was a part of, actually, they were really supportive at first. And then something changed. It got a little too, I don't know, honestly. I don't know what happened there for them. I'm not them, so I can't say.
Right.
And it was a pretty big group of people that I was a part of. And it got to be too much. And so I had to leave that group. But what I found in place of all that was I started making connections to fellow light language people on Instagram. And Jamie Price herself had a class. She actually had a light language class. And so I signed up for it. And this was when everybody was still able to do in-person things. Now I think she does in person, but I think she's doing all of her classes through Zoom now. But still, so I went to Sedona, and in 2018 or 2019, I can't remember, 18 or 19 maybe, a year after I'd already, been doing this. And I met 50 of the most wonderful group of people who were all going through what I was going through. But it was really cool because I had a lot of support from my mom. I had a lot of support from my coworkers. I was very lucky that I had, and I shouldn't even say lucky, I was blessed that I had a lot of people who knew me. And because I'd been on this path for so long, like I'd already been doing all this work and crystals and this and that and the other. So it wasn't like light language was like, it wasn't all of a sudden Marion was normal and Marion came out and started doing all this weird stuff. Everybody already kind of knew, I was kind of, you know, on the fringe, you know, but also a really sane person. So they were all very intrigued actually about what was happening with me. And because I was so, you know, just open and willing and transparent, and everybody, you know, really like was okay, you know, we're here to help you and hold you, you know, hold you through this. But it really helped to connect with all those people at the light language class, because it was this like beautiful journey, like 3.5 days of, you know, all these people. And I still communicate with all of these people. We're all still really close friends and talk and stuff. And Jamie Price really created a really good network for all of us to really connect. And so we are also you know, have a private Facebook group for everyone that's taken her course. So it's, you know, everybody sharing and growing together, and it's been really amazing. So, yeah, I really like encourage, you know, there are lots of people who give these classes that I know, not just Jamie Price. Susie, this girl that I know, this woman that I know, Susie Byler, Creation Temple. I just did a light language symposium with her, and she is another. She teaches as well, just kind of like Jamie Price. And then, I mean, there's a bunch of them. I'm friends with all sorts of people that teach, you know, light language. Sarah Bloomfield, she's another friend of mine on Facebook, and they're just all these really loving, amazing people that are just holding space. So yeah, I was really, really blessed to have people around me and I made the right connections for myself. You know, I just really put myself out there and had a lot of support. And at first I did not post on Facebook, because in some of the groups, there weren't as many groups as there are now. And I was a part of a few groups here and there that were supposedly into spiritual stuff. And I posted light language, and everybody in the group told me I was crazy. So I didn't post on Facebook for quite some time. It wasn't till like probably like a year later that I felt comfortable actually posting any of my videos. I actually felt more comfortable posting on Instagram than I felt on Facebook for some reason. I felt like the Instagram crowd was a lot more supportive than Facebook. It just got to be so crazy on Facebook. Facebook has changed in the last year about that, but still, I feel like the community, the light language community on Instagram is very supportive and super amazing.
Okay. So, and another person was soulology. Is that
So
part of
soulology or Soulgy, that's just a show that's on Todd Medina. He's it's on YouTube, but it's also on Facebook. He has a show, and he has all these it's everything. It's all covers all the spiritual stuff. But he's just been such a support to everyone in the fringe spiritual community, all the people that do all the stuff that's like still quite not like accepted, you know. But I really highly encourage anyone on YouTube, if they look up Todd Medina, look up Soulgy, watch his show, because you'll just meet or see and connect with all these amazing people that he interviews. And I would say he has like 2 to 3 shows almost every day, different interviews with different people.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's really incredible. So if you ever want to just have just get some expansive conversation, have your mind really, really stretched, but like in a really amazing way, check him out for sure.
Okay. Well, we're over our time for a little bit. We got to go to a commercial. So I speak as you hear over the commercials. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We will be going to a commercial. So let me do this. And here we go. Food Alchemy Network. Empowerment for body, mind, and soul. Open yourself up to take your life into journeys beyond. Coffee with Orion Mondays. Every Monday. No subject is taboo with Coffee with Ori. Angelic Whispers with Dr. Ron Bates. The Angel Whisperer, always available. Dr. D, Spiritual Connections. We just fit in where we get in. Always open. Food Alchemy Network. Expand your body, mind, and soul with food for your mouth, food for your soul, food for thought. We thank you for tuning in to Food Alchemy Network. Dr. D, Metaphysician. The alchemy within you she brings out to help you with your alignment of self, knowing yourself via feedback, Reiki, prana, muna, Aiki, and so many others. Detoxification. Dr. D, Metaphysician. Quantum energy healing done by Dr. D and many other services. Intuitive life coach Ori. Ori is a reader, Yoruba priestess, and minister. You can call him at 561-810-0566, and Ori has a plethora of books that you can look at this present time. Again, the number is 561-510-0566, and Coffee Ori is on Mondays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Where are you in your life? And then we have Angelic. Book him today. I am back, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! I'm excited. So let's get really into the light languages, because we were even talking about different forms of, we're going to do the vocal, where you can speak them and they have different sounds, like we were saying. They can also hit different, what I got was the download. You can tell me if I'm wrong. Download I got was that they have their own binary beat for healing, that you can speak it, or the sounds like the clicking, like you were saying, the sounds, but the clicking, say there's dolphin clicking, and there are pitches of different clicks. It's not just click, click, click. They have different pitches that hit a different organ, but not only organ. The information I got was not just different organs, but different esoteric of your body, of chakras, and also your esoteric field. It will penetrate that and so much more. We were talking about the dolphin speaking, and it's close to like whale. Am I?
Yeah. So with the dolphin energy and the whale energy, a lot of their light language is actually not, I mean, it can be sound, but a lot of it is it's like sonic. It's like frequency, like high pitched frequency, high sound, like it's very it's like if you listen to the Song of Whales, right? Like if you Google it or whatever and you listen to whale song, that's essentially what it sounds like. It's really hard for like most of us light language people that do that to like kind of replicate those sounds, but they did, but that frequency still comes through, even though, like, you know, let's say if I was going to bring through the whale energy, I don't necessarily have to like bring through that sound, but I can bring through that energy and that frequency. But they kind of have like this waves of energy that come, and it's very like sonar, like very like it's like echolocation type stuff. The clicking, there's even like the snapping, and then I have friends of mine that can do like that literally do these almost like the sounds that ravens do. Ravens click and stuff. And they do these crazy sounds like the Aborigines do it. They make all these sounds with their mouths and stuff that are like it's all related to elemental energy. And so that's a lot of like the stuff that comes through is not necessarily words, it's sounds.
And that's very important. And that brings us back to our connections, that everything, like I said, everybody's energy and everybody's a frequency. We actually radiate our own frequency. Even when, and our frequency does change, even when we're sick. We don't realize it, but the energy or the sound, the vibration that you vibrate when you're sick or unwell is different for when you're strong and healthy. You have another frequency and vibration that goes out. So much of communicating through your mind and your body sends the signal out. So that's what I was wondering, is that like a form of light language?
You mean as far as like what is coming off of like you, like is that what you're asking?
As a being.
Kind of, sort of. So yes, we emit a frequency and a vibration, and things do come off of us. And depending on like if we're in a certain mood, if we're if we're sick, if we're healthy, it's all this frequency and vibration. It is communicating. It is a communication. It can communicate, and it can communicate with other things outside of you. It can communicate with the subtle realm. Is that a form of light language? I don't know. I guess so. I mean, it is a form of communication. I mean, why wouldn't it fall into that category? There's so much about all of this that we don't really know, that we think we know, and so I'm always willing to say, why not? To me, I really think there is no right or wrong when it comes to any of this stuff. It's all a communication. It's all a frequency. It's all, numbers and lights and colors and sounds. And I think that, to say light language is or isn't something, how do we know? We don't, but it is. I mean, everything around us is communicating constantly. And so why wouldn't it be a light language? Because that's literally why we see color and why we see things around us, is because of the light bouncing around,
Right.
And, coming off of things and creating frequencies. So we see things, you know what I mean? So yeah, you could say it probably could be a form of light language.
So, okay. And we'll go back to like the deer, not deer. I don't know where that came from. Okay. So it must be something a deer. The dolphin and the whale sonar is different, but they recognize each other.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, they kind of all ride in the same band, but they do know they like whales versus dolphins. They all kind of ride in that same band, but they are definitely different in some sense. The sounds are different, the frequency is different. And they do communicate a little bit differently, but it's all very, like I've noticed with the whale energy, it's more of a knowledge, more of an ancient knowledge feeling when they come through. Okay. And with dolphins, it's not that they don't have all that knowledge, but like when I feel whale energy, that's when higher, deeper, ancient knowledge is coming in. Dolphins tend to be more of healing, if that makes any sense. They have more of a, they're there to assist and heal and do telepathic communication. Whereas the whales, for me, when I dream about them or connect with them, they're downloading ancient knowledge to me. They're a little bit more of also of like if I need a lot of grounding, they tend to come in too for me. Yeah, but they're very, whales are, they are very like divine mother energy for me as well. They have a very loving, like deep mother energy. Dolphins have kind of more of a fun, playful, they're a little bit of a higher energy, I have to say, for me anyways. Everybody's going to connect with them differently.
Right.
So, when I connect with them versus, versus when someone else connects to them, it's going to be different for everybody.
Right. Just like we're all different. That's how we get along. That's what makes the pot beautiful.
Yeah.
At times. So we mix it up. So the whales, so because I want to like really discover like the different light languages that there are, like the art, I really love that is the connection, um the whales and elemental component of it as well, but also the galactic connection of light language. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So what's interesting too is in the elemental light language, the fairy language sounds a lot like Japanese or Mandarin, or it has a very, very that feel to it. It's really interesting. And the fairy energy is always like brings in a ton of joy, so much joy. They love to play around. And then the galactic languages, it's interesting because for me, when I bring through certain aspects, galactic aspects that are connected, they sound a little bit more, for me, not all galactic languages, but for me, my galactic languages sound like are like words. Whereas some people, when they bring in, like there's a certain energy that I'll bring in that isn't words, it's galactic in nature, but it's a sound. I always, when I use it to me, it feels like it's rotor-rooting energy. And it sounds like this like buzzing sound, and it goes around and around. And so when I do it, you can really feel it. It is galactically connected to, I want to say, like a Pleiadian aspect of myself that uses the sound to really penetrate into certain things, to really move energy fast. So yeah, so it's like there's so many different like things that come through me. Like I even have a type of language that is breath, that's not even words, that's all like breath. When I bring in the shamanic energy, I have a Syrian aspect that's very shamanic, and it's a lot of like like that type stuff, and it's and I use my hands when I do it because I'm breaking up the energy. So and that's the thing too, that right there, just my hands in general, I'm bringing through an actual language using my hands as well. So I'm speaking, breathing, and using my hands, and I'm drawing code in the air, and I'm doing like 4 or 5 different things all at once. So it's like, I'm bringing through a galactic energy, I'm bringing through an ancient earth energy, like, I'm bringing through all these different energies at once. How did I know I was doing that? I had to ask a lot of my team and keep asking them, What is it that I'm bringing through? How do I know what I'm bringing through? Did I have people help me? Yes. I had people kind of helping me and guiding me to like kind of figure out what it was that I was bringing through. Cause that was what I really wanted to know. Like, okay, like you, like, what's galactic and what's ancient earth? And, what it all boiled down to was I had all the answers inside of me. I knew because I was bringing forth languages that I once spoke.
Right,
Like it
it's in
was
your DNA.
part of me. It was parts of me, past lives, if you want to call it past lives, alternate lives. I was bringing through languages that I had already spoken, things that I had already had done and been. So, when I started trusting myself about what it was I was bringing through, that's when I was like, I should have just trusted myself all along. So I really kind of go by, my own intuition by what it is that I'm bringing through. So when I'm in session with someone, I can tell, like a lot of times things will show up for people too while I'm in session. So, if we were in session together, I wouldn't be surprised, if a fairy showed up. I wouldn't be surprised if the dolphin energy wanted to show up. I mean, so I can feel these things showing up and coming in too for people. So, but that's just something that, that you just kind of, you just develop, your intuitive self just starts to kind of know and understand as you start doing this stuff, and you just really got to kind of immerse yourself in it and practice and just kind of really let it flow, and trust your intuition.
Okay. So we did the dolphin. We talked, and I'm glad you said fairy because I was like in my mind, I was talking about, said ask about fairy, and I decided to go another way, and you brought it right back. So that is so funny.
Very,
So
yeah, they will, they love to, that's their, yeah, you can't go past a fairy.
I was like, I was like, nah. And it's like, and you was like, I was like, okay, you gonna
Yeah.
come through. So that is just is so amazing. So the thing is, when you're doing these different languages, is it like they're for um naming, not naming, what it they're showing me like in my head. Okay. When you're doing these different languages, it's can be healing, right? Or
Mhm.
they're messages for other people to be shared as we're doing this. These light languages. Am I right or wrong? I mean, you can
So,
expand, just trying to figure it out.
so with light language, what it is it's activating your DNA. So when I'm like, let's say, so if I were going to bring through something really quickly, okay, let's just see if I'll bring something through for you, a real quick activation for you. Okay.
Okay.
Dosto wormati rawarihine kurvatalus. Dervedi hierma derved kurma derved shndum. Parvan derved kurma der hierma del turma te arvastur. Daar hier hierma der aurimit kermund. Sur fetta stur var hielur van der kmorvanda. Tier di dir venror. Stai wim kienda stu ja ja lum. Sarva de disti. Drenia koma dervano sur. Sur. So something like that. That was an activation into some fire energy. I felt some dragon actually in there.
Oh
I did.
wow.
I felt some dragon energy. And an opening of the crown a little bit, and just like a quick little adjustment, a little bit of adjustment of the throat chakra, and just really more of a kind of an activating certain like
Key
certain
points.
dormant things that are within your DNA. So I get stuff like that. Like that's how I use light language. Is I use light
Okay.
language to activate others, activate myself, heal help other people heal themselves. It's more than just communication.
Ashe.
It is multidimensional. It is
Very
doing 6,000 things all at the same
nice.
time. And one like word can do like, you know, all these different things. And everybody that hears it is going to get a different message. So, you know, you can make it more personal, like what I gave, you know, did for you. But for another person, they might hear it and they might not feel anything at all. Or they might hear it and be like, whoa, there's some part of that that's for me as well. I mean, that's the cool thing about light language is that it reaches everybody on some level, whether they feel it or not. It does not matter. A healing or an activation or even just love, that love frequency comes through no matter what.
That's love. I like
and
that.
You can't do any harm. I have never been, I don't do like, just like with any type of energy healing, do no harm, right?
Right.
I have never used light language. For me, I cannot use it in that way. I don't know if other people have had that experience or do use light language in that way. I hope not, but it all comes from a place of love and a really high frequency of love for me.
Oh, wow. That's so cool. So, I mean, that is much, much appreciated. So thank you so much, because I did actually feel it as you were talking. And it was like, okay, that's us. People felt, if you seen it on a video, you actually see me jump. So this is not just something that I am making up. This is her giving right on the spot. I didn't even ask for it. So that is what I'm talking about. So I did feel it, but also, like you said, you're an activator. There are some people that activate people, period.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually one too, and I didn't know that until my friend said that I activate his Reiki, or I activate this. And that is a form of just who we are. It's not, like I said, I'm not a 3-dimensional person, and nothing about me is going to be 3-dimensional. So
Mm-hmm.
I like that I'm multidimensional, like I said, multi-galactic being. And I said, sometimes I say central being, and sometimes I say, well, I'm in my immortal stage. And when I say that, or my godlike stage, it freaks people out. Like, who does she think she is? I think I'm a god. I'm going to be real. With God, you have abilities that's within yourself. And I always say everybody is a god, but whether you tune in and tap in to take that seriously is up to you. And after you do, it comes great responsibility. So you can no longer go back to being ignorant, because now you know the difference between ignorant, and ignorant is not knowing.
Right.
But knowing and choosing not to know is different. So I'm grateful for that, because it gives a broader understanding how we can go, how we can connect, how we can communicate with this. This has been so outstanding. And guess what? We're actually like running out of time. Like, I got more people coming. So we're going to have to do this again.
For sure.
We're going to do this again. Like, we got a lot of stuff going on. So I could actually see that this is going to help. That what this is about. Oh, you come in all late talking about greetings. Big bro, I'm going to have a word with you after the show. Talk about greetings. That's my big brother. So,
Nice.
you know, I appreciate that, the in-depth, because when we think of something, we think of it as just being in I call this the 3D realm. And also I say as a holodeck. I know a lot of people don't like that, but I feel that's what I'm like right now in my holodeck stage. I know this is a play, and eventually the play is going to end, and I have the opportunity to change it because I know that I'm on a holodeck. So in a way, I'm happy, because I'm, as you were saying, as it was like you were saying, multidimensional, but feeling that it's speaking to different cores of myself, not only in this form, in this dimension, but others. And also it's healing other dimensions, other dimensional parts that is not here present, if that makes sense, if you will, is what I got as you were saying it, because it was like, okay. Even I felt it in my heart chakra.
Yep.
You know, in my heart, it was like, okay, yeah, she's saying the throat, because I've been holding back, not saying some things, and usually I'm a big person, but I don't want to hurt somebody's feeling, but also I didn't want to do something, and now it's like spirit is like making it show up. You're the third thing, so when things show up 3 times for me, I have no other choice but to go on and just say, okay, this is what you're speaking, and know your truth.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, special. Okay, he said, speak your intent, power in the words. You're right, and that's what it is. But it's also energy that she's coming forth from other dimensionals, which I really like that we tap in when we get to saying this. And
Yeah.
very important of evolving, and you saying like light language is evolving, just like our light workers. What we know before, the more that we practice, like the more you do Reiki,
Mm-hmm.
and the stronger it gets.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they tell people, when you're doing Reiki, do Reiki on yourself first every
Mm-hmm.
day to shield yourself. And then the more that you do it, the better you become. The stronger, I can say. So when you're doing distant healing, they can really feel it. Everything's with practice, like Muna Aiki, same thing, Earth Keepers. That's why we're able to do death and walk into different gateways. Um, and they're all a key connection, because this is what we open ourselves up to. So I definitely thank you for that, because that is like truly amazing. I was like, I have other questions about other light languages, like I can go on and on and on about them, because they're in my head, like questions are like doesn't want to come out. So I'm appreciative of that, and I definitely look forward to having you on again for people to understand. So I have any questions? Anybody have any questions out there before we end the show? Because we're running over a little bit for you people that came late. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you guys for all the support. Any questions? Oh, okay, my brother. Yes, I was late. That's how she activated her. She
Is that
activated
how I
her.
activated my force? Yeah, I'm a Jedi for sure. I've had those dreams actually, the Jedi dreams. I, definitely activated the force within me. It's interesting because I've been doing this stuff since I was a kid. I mean, all of us have. That's the cool thing about light language, is that babies, even as babies, we come in with that. And that's why this, it's like no new thing. It's just being highlighted now. And so one of the cool things I will say about light language, when you start doing this,
Mm-hmm.
it brings you back to that inner child, and it taps into that. And that is where the magic is, because the magic starts coming back into your life when you really tap into it, and you gain that connection with the inner child, yourself, and then the highest aspect that you're working with. And you're working as a team, you're working as a trinity. And then that's when that power comes in. It's a real healing, heart opening, multi-dimensional thing. It really is.
Right. So can you give, besides them, something that you would give homework? See, I'm a homework kind of a person. Besides them reading the books, what do you suggest someone to do to maybe see if they have it within themselves, the light language?
Well, just even from watching this, and even hearing the word light language, or even, that's all it can really take is to, you can start researching it, just Google it, or, start messing around with, um, making sounds with your mouth. I mean, that's kind of what I did, I was like, what is happening? And I would just kind of by myself, do the blah, 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 letting things kind of fly. And then I'd let my hands do weird things, and I'd let sounds kind of come out of my mouth. And I'm sure, a fly on a wall, I'm sure people, would have thought I was crazy, because here I am going, zoo, 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 making all these sounds and stuff, but that's really, look at someone, at some of the stuff on there, see what you resonate with, who you resonate with. And all you have to do is what I did was like, I want to do that. Whatever that
Okay.
is, I want that, you know, and bam, it was like, oh, okay. And then that's how, you know, first it came through with the movement and then it came through with the speaking. And then when I saw the artwork, I was like, I want to do that. And it even the singing, because I sing light language. And I grew up singing, but you know, but to sing in light language is it's a whole nother frequency. And it's
Say
a
that.
whole, it does a whole, it's very angelic. It brings in a whole angelic frequency when you sing. It can also be very tribal as well, depending on what frequencies you're bringing through. So you just ask for it. That's, you know, and start looking up stuff and see what activates you, because everybody has it inside of them. Everybody does.
See, that's your homework, ladies and gentlemen. Seek and ye shall find. Speak it out. Speak your intentions, and the intentions will come. And
Mm-hmm.
practice, practice,
Yep.
practice, practice. That's what my big brother said. Practice, which is correct, and she said the same thing. Practice, but also resonate and look for the books that we've suggested on here. So
Yep.
without further ado, I want to say, ladies and gentlemen, it is 7:07, and I'm saying good night to you.